everyone, it's Melissa here with Anita Goodesign, and today I want to take you down the road of tips and tricks with us for planning your quilts and other projects. Now, often at Anita, we come out with beautiful collections where we have stunning colorways and fabric creations, and a lot of times we get asked, well, how do you pick out your fabrics and threads, or how could I make this project my own? Today I wanted to deep dive into a few of those collections and take a look at some of the color variations we've tried here at Anita Goodesign and hopefully spark some of those ideas for you. For the first project collection I wanted to show off, we have our large release of Embellished Christmas. Now this quilt features beautiful different materials throughout its creation, including the 3D elements. We used a mix of materials from cotton to silk fabric like you see here, and even dupioni. As you go through your collection, we like to pick a base set of colors to work with. For instance, with the Christmas collection, we chose shades of dark red and light red, and instead of the traditional green, we opted for a mint shade as well. The best way to start your thread and fabric palette is to pick your base colors and then choose a light and dark complementary tone to go with it. And we also did some other options. First up, we have a white variation of the Embellished Christmas collection. For this one, we went for a total different look, and instead of the satin, we opted for a very subtle print white cotton. With the white cotton, we then chose a cooler palette of threads to go with this collection to bring out a more winter and Christmas feel with blues, silvers, and whites. This one's definitely pretty for a more seasonal approach, and you don't have to leave it up for just Christmas. Break there. Lastly, with our Embellished Christmas, we mixed another Christmas collection with this one to make a small 9 patch, and instead of using the traditional cotton, we went for this beautiful and bright red satin. By changing up the base fabric from the navy to this bright and bold color, you definitely get something much more eye-catching, and you can let your threads do all the detail work in something more subtle, like we did here with the brown. Don't forget to add in the fun pops and metallics to really make your design shimmer and shine. Next up, we have our large release collection of the Midsummers Night Tapestry. Now this beautiful large release has only a few color selections in it, and the fabric and thread is really what makes the difference. So let's take a look at how we did that one. For our first variation that you see here, we chose a really luxe feeling black velvet base fabric. By choosing the velvet, this really made the statement for the finished quilt once it was hung up. And since the quilt design only has one thread color, all of our embroidery was done in a silver metallic thread. By using a sparkly color or even a shimmering thread in that stippling, you'll even make it look like night sky with the pretty velvet base fabric. Now this was the main colorway we chose, but we also opted to do a second colorway for a more regal look. For something a little more luxurious, we opted for a more maroon and luxe gemstone colored base fabric. Again, we chose that velvet. And if one of you are watching at home and you're saying, well, Melissa, velvet costs a lot of money, you can choose to back your material in cotton as well, since of course this is more a display quilt, so you can save some of that money in the binding or the backing. But we kept with that burgundy velvet all across the top. And to really make the threads pop, we use that gold metallic instead of silver. This one definitely gives me regal vibes. Next up, I wanted to show you a few of the project collections we've created where changing out our base fabric and threads can give a whole new look as well. So let's take a look at those. For this visual example, I have our winter sweater hoop collection and our comfort cozy wrap. Now these two were done in one colorway for our tutorial, but then we wanted to get creative and change up some of the materials we did here. So for our hooped sweater sayings here, we tried different threads, everything from the matte embroidery to metallics, and we even had some fun with variegated thread to try different looks with the material you use. So with the one that's variegated thread, we actually stitched on a silk dupioni here, so it gave a nice taut surface for the thread to sit on and really lets the thread do the shining there. And then in this example, we had a really fun, soft, plush looking flannel. And since the flannel has such a great texture and that winter feel, we went with that matte embroidery thread to really kind of contrast off of that plush fabric. So again, you can change up the materials that you use and your threads, even if it's different from what we tried, to get a totally different look. Same thing goes with our project construction. So we tried 2 different base materials here. Let's say you're giving a gift to someone and you need something more neutral, so you could always do muslin or a cotton that's a neutral color, and have fun with your applique or embroidery threads. Or let's say you know the person really well and they love fun colors and prints, you can try that in the project as well. So definitely get creative with the different alternatives you use in the projects and find color palettes that work well for what you're making. Next up, I have our collection Modular Medallions. This large release makes stunning big pieces as well, so this one's fun to experiment with your color options too. For the example that I have here, we did one that matches interior decor, so this is a great collection to pull colors from your living room, your couch, or even your rug, and incorporate those into a palette to create your collection and the design with. So let's say I have a lot of maroon accent colors. We definitely want to carry that through our creation, but then we want some fun and lighter, brighter colors as well. So we pulled in some cream and this nice gold tone yellow to really complement the deeper tones throughout this scene. So in this medallion, you can also change up, of course, the materials you used. This one we predominantly stuck with silk du peony for all of our appliques and base materials. But again, this one matched our home. So if we wanted to change it to make it more seasonal, now this one is stunning. This is one of my favorite variations. This one's definitely more autumn themed, and looking at it first glance, you can tell we pulled in those warm golds, copper tones, and again, we stuck with that silk du peony in there, which has that beautiful dual tone shimmer of color in them, and definitely helps complement your thread choices there as well. So not only do you have to match your home, but you can mix up your colors and make them go through the seasons as well. You can also make it Christmas themed. I've recommended people try this with reds and golds. So really, the creative possibilities are up to you. Last but not least, I wanted to show you guys a project collection that we did the same thing with, where we swapped out our fabrics and threads for two totally different looks. So let's take a look at those. Here we have our round votive bags, where we did two different variations for thread and color choices. Now both use matte embroidery threads, but one version we went with a darker base fabric, and with the other we did a more heathered looking purple tone. So they have two different colorways for sure, but the real fun was also in the organza that we use. So again, these are round votive bags where we'd put the little tea light inside and the light would shine through. With these, the different types of organza you use will change how the light comes through them. So in one variation, we did about 2 to 3 shade layers of the pink, and in the other one, we did this sparkly material to really give an eye-catching finish to it. So even without the shimmer of the light in it, this one still sparkles as well. So very cute project creation where you can change up those threads with the same kind of design and create two different looks. So as a reminder, with those votive bags, again, they are for LED candles, so make sure you practice your fire safety and no real flames inside of these. You can use those little LED battery operated ones and they still create a beautiful glow through that organza. Again, for more information on the votive bags, we also have a video on our YouTube channel you can check out on how to do construction with those as well. And I hope this tips and tricks video gave you a little more insight into how you can change up your fabrics and thread choices for projects that really shine. Thank you for watching.